AITA for walking out of my boyfriend's proposal because he did it with a ring his ex picked out for herself? So picture this. Fairy lights, soft music, our family's smiling like they're in a Netflix Christmas special. He gets down on one knee, pulls out the ring, and my brain short-circuits. Because I've seen that ring before. No, not in a dream, not in a catalog. On his ex's Pinterest board, back when they were playing Starter Marriage, Deluxe Edition. So I pull him aside, all quiet and polite, like I'm not about to combust in slow motion. Hey, quick question. Where'd you get the ring? And this man, this living red flag with Wi-Fi, goes, "Oh, it's the one I was going to use to propose to Veronica. I had it made for her, but it doesn't mean anything anymore." You've got to be kidding me. You're proposing to me with a ring custom picked by your ex-girlfriend? Apparently a breakup that never downloaded properly, always glitching in the background? You couldn't even spring for a Groupon special? Or, I don't know, a vending machine ring at this point. So I did what any sane, slightly feral woman would do. I said I needed air. And I walked my betrayed little fingers right out the door. Now he's texting me like I ruined his big day. Babe, no, you proposed with haunted jewelry. That's not romance. That's spiritual recycling. Some of our friends are like, it's just a rock. Yeah? So is Mount Doom, and I'm not putting that on my hand either. I'm Jessica, 29F, and I met my boyfriend Peter, 32M, after we had both broken up from long-term relationships. His ex-girlfriend Veronica, 30F, was a childhood sweetheart turned Instagram wellness coach turned cautionary tale. My ex? A bartender turned ghost who apparently joined the witness protection program the moment I said the word commitment. Peter and I met on a dating app. You know the one, where everyone claims to love hiking but mysteriously has 0 photos outside. Our first date was at this grimy little diner downtown. He showed up with a bouquet of slightly wilted daisies and a smile that said, "I'm trying, okay?" I thought it was sweet, real, normal in a world where normal felt extinct. At first, it was easy. We were both a little bruised, a little sarcastic, and a little too willing to call Olive Garden fine dining if it meant eating carbs in peace. He made me laugh. He listened when I talked about my horrible office job and how my neighbor's emotional support ferret kept stealing my Amazon packages. And he only brought up Veronica once. He said, "Yeah, that ended weird, but it's in the past." Cool. Great. Baggage neatly zipped up and stowed under the seat in front of us, or so I thought. The first weird moment? I stayed over at Peter's place one night, and while he was asleep, I went looking for an extra blanket because his apartment was basically a walk-in freezer. I found a monogrammed blanket and a monogrammed towel with a big curly V embroidered on it, V for Veronica, or V for very bad at letting go, depending on how charitable you're feeling. I laughed it off. I mean, whatever. People keep stuff, right? I wasn't going to spiral because my boyfriend still had a guest towel from the ghost of relationships past. Then there was the family barbecue. It's summer. It's hot. I'm 3 mimosas deep and feeling pretty good about this whole integrating into the family thing. And Peter's mom, Susan, who could give a masterclass in passive-aggressive compliments, wraps me in a side hug and says, "We're so happy Peter found someone again. Veronica left such a hole in his life." And then, she called me Veronica twice during the barbecue. At that point, I was just hoping they'd put my name on a little sticker like, "Hello, I am not Veronica." But again, I told myself I was overreacting. "It's normal," I said. "You're just being sensitive," I said. But here's the thing about ignoring little red flags. They don't go away. They just get bigger, and sometimes they come with fairy lights and a proposal. So, I ignored the monogrammed blanket and towel. I laughed off getting called Veronica, twice, by Peter's mom. I told myself I was just being paranoid. After all, wasn't I the one who said I didn't want to be that girl? You know the one, the insecure, jealous stereotype who sees ghosts where there's just bad housekeeping? But the cracks started to grow, like the vacation planning incident. Peter surprised me one night after dinner. "Let's plan a trip." I was thrilled. I mean, this was it, right? Real commitment, new memories, our own chapter. So we sat down with wine and laptops and excitement, only for Peter to casually pull up a travel itinerary, already done. Every single detail: flights, hotels, activities. All bookmarked under a folder labeled Veronica Trip. Yep. He literally dusted off the vacation he never got to take with his ex and tried to copy-paste me into it like a human stock image. When I pointed it out, Peter just laughed. "It's a good trip, Jess. Why reinvent the wheel?" Right. Why reinvent anything when you can just recycle it wholesale, including your future wife? After that, I met up with my best friend Lila for drinks. Lila, who's the human equivalent of a glitter bomb with a criminal record, took one look at my face and said, "Okay, who do I have to fight?" I told her about the towel, the barbecue, the recycled honeymoon. Girl, you are not a Build-A-Bear where he gets to stuff old memories inside and call it new. You don't build a future with someone else's blueprints. I wanted to listen, I really did. But Peter was sweet most of the time. He kissed my forehead when I was tired. He made me grilled cheese when I cried watching those Adopt a Puppy commercials. And somewhere deep down, I was terrified that if I walked away, I'd prove I really was the insecure, broken girl my ex once told me I was. So I stayed. And I told myself love was about compromise, until the vision board happened. It was a random Tuesday. I was cleaning Peter's closet because apparently men think dust bunnies are roommates. I found a big old poster rolled up behind some shoes. Curiosity killed the cat and almost killed my relationship because I unrolled it. It was a vision board full of wedding photos. Venue shots, dress styles, cake designs, all in a theme, and the theme was Veronica's Pinterest aesthetic. Rustic barn, pale pink peonies, a wedding dress style she posted about once that I recognized immediately. Not a single thing about it felt like me. Not a single piece of that board had anything to do with us. It was all hers. And they were also the things he had casually mentioned as his vision for our marriage. That's when it hit me. I wasn't building a life with Peter. I was auditioning for a role that had already been cast. I wish I could say I stormed out then. I wish I could say I threw the board in his face and delivered a speech worthy of an Emmy. But I didn't. I just sat there, quietly, realizing that no matter how many fairy lights you hang, you can't decorate your way out of feeling second best. Love isn't about fitting into someone else's dream. Ignoring your instincts always comes at a price. It happened on a Saturday night. Fairy lights, soft music, the backyard at Peter's childhood home. His family standing around pretending not to know why they were there, while sneaking proposal incoming glances at each other. There were folding chairs. There was champagne chilling. There was a suspicious number of people wearing pastel linen. You know, casual. It felt fake. Like a staged Instagram moment sponsored by emotional compromise. The whole time, I had this little voice in my head whispering, "Don't do it. Don't say yes just because you feel sorry for him. Don't say yes because you're scared to start over at 29. But louder than that was the voice saying, "Everyone's watching. Smile. Be grateful. Make it easy for everyone." And I hated how much I wanted to obey that voice. Peter cleared his throat like he was about to give a TED Talk about why I should accept mediocrity. He got down on one knee. The fairy lights twinkled. My heart sank. And then, he opened the box. I knew that ring. I knew it because it wasn't just a ring. It was the ring, the diamond, the rose gold band, the tiny detail work. It wasn't just similar. It was exactly the ring Veronica had gushed about and posted once on her Instagram stories. I remembered because Peter had shown it to me early on when we were swapping cringy ex-tales. And here it was. He had slipped it on my finger. He had put her ring on me, like some horrible emotional hand-me-down. I forced a smile so tight I thought my teeth might fuse together, took his hand, and yanked him off to the side. I asked, "Where did you get this ring?" Peter shrugged, like it was no big deal. It's the ring I was going to use to propose to Veronica. But it's just a ring, Jess. It doesn't mean anything now. I felt dead inside. You couldn't even be bothered to pick something out for me? Peter got annoyed and defensive. It's a nice ring. I already had it. Why waste more money when this one's perfectly good? You're overthinking this. And in that moment, something inside me, something quiet and exhausted and done, finally snapped. I realized it wasn't about the ring. It wasn't even about Veronica. It was about me. About how little he actually saw me. About how little he wanted to know me, love me, choose me for who I actually was. I didn't scream. I didn't cause a scene. I just smiled and said, I need some air. Just in case he didn't get it, I added, I'm not marrying you. You don't deserve me. And walked out the gate, ring still on my finger, but a big no on the proposal. My phone started blowing up before I even hit the end of the driveway. Peter's texts: 1. You're embarrassing me. 2. You're being dramatic. 3. Come back and let's finish this. 4. Keep the ring and come back. Think about what you're doing. Finish what, Peter? Your discount bin engagement party? Your group therapy session where I'm the only one who didn't get the memo? Some of our friends sided with him. Girl, it's just a rock. At least he still chose you. Others texted me late at night, whispering like I was hiding in the attic. You were right to leave. That man proposed with haunted jewelry. And that's how I found myself, mascara running, barefoot in the back seat of Lila's Subaru, eating McDonald's fries and realizing I would rather be alone with salt and shame on my hands than married to a man who thought love was something you could recycle like old cardboard. Being chosen means nothing if it's by default. You deserve to be seen, not slotted in like a placeholder. Walking away is the proposal you give to yourself. The days after the proposal were weird. Peter kept texting like I had just misunderstood a parking sign, not walked out of our engagement. His family started damage control, lots of, he meant well, and you can always pick a new ring later. As if the ring was the only thing wrong. Meanwhile, my own head felt like a snow globe someone had chucked across a room. At first, I thought about giving the ring back, like some noble martyr in a Lifetime movie. But then I remembered something my friend Lila said, in the drive-thru of McDonald's while I ugly cried into a filet-o-fish. Just because it's second-hand love doesn't mean you have to give it back for free. So I called a jeweler. Turns out, the ring was even worse than I thought. It wasn't just picked out by Veronica. It had been custom-made for her. Imagine proposing to your girlfriend with a ring literally engineered for another woman. I sold it. Got a decent price, too. And with the money, I booked something better than a wedding venue or a therapy session. I went on a solo trip to Greece. Whitewashed buildings, blue rooftops, olive trees and salty air and feta cheese that tasted like tiny clouds. I wandered ruins older than all my bad decisions combined. I drank wine in the sun. I laughed with strangers who didn't know my sad little ring story. And somewhere between a hiking trail in Santorini and a ferry ride where I almost lost my passport, I realized something important. Love isn't a hand-me-down. It's not a patch you sew over a wound you're too scared to treat. It's not good enough if it isn't real. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't dramatic. I wasn't hard to love. I was just finally ready to stop auditioning for someone else's life. So maybe one day someone will propose to me again. Maybe not. Either way, I'll be choosing myself first. And you know what? This time, if there's a ring involved, it sure as hell won't come pre-haunted. So AITA for walking out of my boyfriend's proposal because he did it with a ring his ex picked out for herself? Nah, sometimes the only thing you're supposed to say yes to is yourself. If you enjoyed this little tale of romance, regret, and recycled jewelry, go ahead and hit that like button. It costs less than Peter's proposal and comes with zero emotional baggage. Subscribe for more stories where the red flags wave proudly, the exes refuse to stay buried, and healing sometimes looks like booking a solo flight to Greece with someone else's ring money. And drop a comment below if you've ever had to walk away from something perfectly good that just wasn't good for you. Trust me, we've all got a Peter. Let's talk about it.